Well, hello there. Chris Luther from Interstate Premier Facility Services. I want to thank you so much for being here and sharing with our families and our teachers, our staff about the work that's going to be happening in our schools to provide a safe learning environment as we return to face-to-face instruction. So welcome. And again, I'm excited to have you be here for this. I'm going to share my screen quickly. And we can walk through together on a few slides. I might have some questions as we go. But I do think it's important before we get started to just explain to everybody that this is a new partnership for our district. We've previously had another custodial provider, and right now it was, I think, July 1 was your first day on the job. And so we're excited about this partnership, and the equipment that you've brought into the district, I think is already a strong indicator of your commitment to doing an excellent job here to provide a safe and clean learning environment for our students. So that in addition to the work that we've had an opportunity to see over the last couple of months as we're getting ready for the start of the school year. So welcome to Eastpointe. We're excited to have you as a partner. And with that, I'd like to just dive in and get started here.
No, we're excited, and it's when we walked through and saw everything, we saw a big opportunity for us to make a difference, and we're excited to do so.
Well, why don't you share with us a little bit about Interstate and kind of what your plan or approach is to cleanliness and disinfecting?
Sure. So, we're a little bit of a different company in regards to, we look at specific projects that we want to take on. We just don't look and bid at everything and then try to take on. We look and try to strategize to, have controlled growth. A lot of companies out there just take anything that they can get to get right out of the gate because they low bid it, or they come in and they say, oh, I just want to throw as much at the board as I can to see what gets brought in. And that's not how we are. When we take on a project like we did with Eastpointe, we invest heavily. We spent $133,000 on the equipment to bring into the building. We had to buy a propane stripper to remove, years of just bad, floor work in there. So that's what we look at in the opportunity. The other thing that we look at is, especially during a pandemic, disinfecting is key. There's a big difference between cleaning and disinfecting. And, those are the things that we really try to hammer home, to teachers, to principals, to faculty, administrators is, listen, there are going to be times where, hey, a trash can might get missed or something like that. But right now we have to make sure that we're disinfecting every single day. We use electrostatic sprayers. We'll use foggers to help so we can cover a greater area. Trying to do everything by hand is very difficult. So it allows us greater coverage and allows, everybody to feel safe to come back into school, and to make sure that everybody going in knows, hey, not only is the building being cleaned and taken care of, but we also know the touch point of the building is being disinfected to make sure that we can take care of everybody.
That's great. Can you tell us a little bit about the cleaning safety protocols and what people might expect to see on a regular basis in our schools?
Right. So during the day, the CDC, has said that, touch points have to be disinfected 3 times per 8 hours on a shift. So what you're going to see is the normal day porters that you had there before, they might have been setting up classrooms or going in and going into the bathrooms and cleaning up messes, which they're still going to do. But their focus now is to make sure that they're going to be disinfecting everything in the schools, all the touch points, all the doorknobs, the bathrooms, anything that is frequently touched, to make sure that that is disinfected on a daily basis. So, whether they go into the bathrooms, light switches on doors, in offices, as you see here, libraries, computer labs, these are all going to be done after every class period, because as you move one set of people out and another set of people in, you have to make sure those people are walking in to a disinfected environment. And that's how we're going to work together to make sure this is all done. We're also going to be supplying the disinfectant, spray bottles, sanitizing wipes to the school so that the desk can be done after every period. Teachers can do it as well. So, we're making a big investment to make sure that Eastpointe, and I will say Eastpointe has done a very good job between yourself, Robert Carlesso, and Jody Burton of getting ahead of this, saying, hey, this is how many hand sanitizer stands we need. This is how many glasses we need, goggles we need, gloves we need, and we're fortunate enough to have a partnership with Home Depot Pro that allows us to get this. I know other schools that have reached out to us that we actually aren't doing the janitorial for, that are asking for supplies because their vendor can't get it for them because they don't have that buying power or that relationship, because everything's going to medical and everything else is going to anybody else that has those types of relationships. So that's something that has really positioned Eastpointe in a tremendous position.
That's great. And you talked a little bit about this, but on this slide, it does talk about the hand sanitizer and the disinfectant wipes and that. I don't know if you wanted to add anything additional to this.
I mean, basically that, it's going to be in everywhere. Jody got ahead of this right away, got me the head count. So, anytime they want, there's going to be enough dispersed all throughout the school, but also in the classroom so that, when students walk into the room, they should sanitize their hands. When students leave the room, they should sanitize their hands. It's been something that the people that are prepared, you're going to be prepared and be in a good state. And that's what we want, everybody at Eastpointe to understand.
So, it really seems that this is kind of an approach. Let me go back. It sounds like it's a combination of approach really of disinfecting and cleaning surfaces, but at the same time recognizing the need for things like hand sanitizing and hand washing, so that we really are getting the benefits of both, right? Having surfaces that are free of viruses, bacteria, dirt, and other things like that, but also taking precautions on the other side to make sure that our hands are clean and things like that. So it sounds really, in a way, like the combination of those kind of comes together for a safe learning environment.
It is, and honestly, it's the new normal, is what we've discussed with other doctors and chemists in the field. I'm on calls with Home Depot and Wayfair on a weekly basis, and they've actually added disinfectant technicians that will become a permanent part of their scope forever. It just makes everybody feel safe. The buildings are safer. Everything's being disinfected, and it's something that when we've talked to supply chain associates throughout the country on calls, that is going to be something that is going to be in every RFP going forward. So it's something that this pandemic is going to change things forever. And it's something that, we'll have and we'll be able to be prepared for going forward.
So I'd like you to talk in a minute about the kind of the different levels of cleaning that are happening. But before I do that, one of the questions that we get frequently and that I'm trying to make sure we're communicating often is, what are the things that people should be looking at when they are making decisions about sending their kids to school? And so from the local health department guidance, they really, for students, they're a little different than adults. And so they're looking for a temperature of 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, a sore throat, a new uncontrolled cough that causes difficulty breathing, diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal pain, or a new onset of a severe headache. And so these are the things that kind of show up for students in terms of symptoms. And one of the things that we're asking for students, parents, and guardians to do is to screen at home every morning for those symptoms. And any students that have any of those symptoms, or they think they might have those symptoms, they have to stay home. And then students that have those symptoms that develop at school, they will need to be picked up. They can't ride the bus home, because that's one of our bus protocols. But if you can, and I know, share those symptoms, because I am going to ask you to share a little bit about what happens in our schools in the event that we do have a positive case. But before we get to that, can you talk a little bit about the first level cleaning, which is kind of more like the daily level cleanings that people would expect to see in our schools?
Yeah, so that's going to be the day porters. They're going to be going around and obviously, if there's an accident in a bathroom, or if there's, a child gets sick, they will be cleaning that up. But the main thing that they have to do is do the disinfecting of the touch points with the disinfectant. So they're going to be going throughout the school, whether it was with a fogger or with the spray bottle with the disinfectant. And the thing that I like about this, the disinfectant is ready to use. It's not something that you have to dilute or anything like that. So you can't make a mistake with it. It's something that comes ready to use. It dries clear, so there's no residue, there's no wiping of anything off, and that's what makes it so much easier. With the ones that you dilute, there's a residue, you have to wipe it off. If you don't dilute it properly, it can be oily. This has none of that, which is why we invest in a better product. So, those are going to be the ones you're going to see them going throughout the school 3 times a day, to hit all the touch points throughout the school on top of doing the cleaning.
And then what are the other levels of disinfecting?
So in the evenings, what we're going to be doing is using a fogger to go through and disinfect the entire school, because that is what allows us to cover, the high school, I believe off the top of my head, is 310,000 square feet. So to ask cleaners to not only do their cleaning job, but then go and disinfect 300,000 square feet by hand is just not possible. You have to have technology, you have to have good equipment to do that. So that's what we're going to be supplying Eastpointe with. Now, if there is a person that has a positive COVID test, we will then use electrostatic sprayers. So what an electrostatic sprayer is, it will positively charge the chemical so that when you go into a room, it adheres to everything. It'll go underneath chairs, it'll go underneath tables, it'll go underneath desks. So instead of somebody having to wipe underneath a desk, or maybe they miss a certain area, or maybe they went a little too fast in the area, when you're using an electrostatic sprayer and it juts out, it's going to adhere to everything and kill everything. That's the difference when you go with the disinfecting process.
Okay. So it doesn't rely on somebody actually physically applying it to like with a sprayer and then wiping it or anything. It just basically gets put into the air and it gets attracted electrostatically to all of the different surfaces. So,
and that's the thing, when you look at it, it can hit every doorknob, behind anything. So anything a child could touch, if the virus is on there, there's nothing that's going to be missed when you electrostatically spray it.
So I actually, I have a short video of that, and I'm going to stop sharing this screen and I'm going to start to share the video of this, because I think it's kind of interesting for people to be able to see how this works. And they do have some, they talk a little bit in here, so we'll see if,
a lot of your crew, that's a lot of work for one classroom for one person. This, you can go in, the electrostatic clings all the way around the object, and you can get in and get out that quick of time.
And that's funny, Ryan. Those are actually the sprayers that we use. That's a Victory brand. They're the best in the market. So, it's something that, we believe in and we know works extremely well. And that's a great video to use, because that's what you're going to see at Eastpointe.
well, and I think sometimes people don't, it's hard to kind of get an idea of what it looks like. And I think the message there is, again, I think it's a strong message of commitment to the district and to providing safe and clean learning environment for our students and our staff when they return. So Chris, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share before we end this call?
No, we're excited. This has been a great partnership, and we're happy to help. And I got pictures from my floor techs over the weekend of the floors that they did, and I mean, they look like glass. So I'm excited for the teachers and principals and everybody to see, what it looks like now. And, I'll be here for anything that Eastpointe needs, and we're excited at the partnership.
Well, thank you again. And if I get any questions, I'll make sure to forward them on to you and try and answer the questions that come up. But hopefully this segment helps to do that. So thank you again.
Not a problem. Thank you for the opportunity.